welcome to another video, and in today's video I want to share with you a painting process, as you can see, and this one is an interesting one, so I encourage you to stick around. Also, if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Irit. I'm an intuitive artist based in Austria in Europe, and on my channel I share my artsy adventures. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. If you didn't, leave it a thumbs down so I know what you like. And of course, I invite you to subscribe. I post new videos every week, sharing my adventures, product reviews, all that good stuff. So today is a little bit different from recent process videos, and the reason is I was exploring some new subjects, and I think what you'll see in this video is really how those ideas I work through these ideas with very partial success. And if you stick around and see the next process video, which will probably be posted a week after this one, you will also see how this is kind of a breathing, living thing of inspiration, and how it is really interesting to explore ideas and try things and fail and then figure out how to add certain elements to your painting in a way that actually works for you. So what I'm doing is I have in my mind, I've been thinking a lot about Tel Aviv, which is a town in Israel, and I never actually lived there, but I lived in Haifa, which is another town on the Mediterranean coast, and I lived in Jerusalem, and I also lived in one of the towns next to Tel Aviv. But Tel Aviv was always a place for me of freedom and vacation and just like good times with my bestie, my childhood friend, that we've been friends since we were about 10, so over 30 years now. And when we were in high school, we would sometimes cut school. I was a very good student, so it's allowed. We would sometimes cut school and go to Tel Aviv and spend the day there as provincials. And then when I was in university, at some point she also lived there, and she still lives in Tel Aviv. And so we would just always spend this really, really fun time together there. And also when I met my husband is not from Israel, he's from Austria. And that's how I ended up in Austria. I never imagined I would be living here. I would, take him to Tel Aviv, and we continued to vacation in Tel Aviv because it's just like one of these great cities with, excellent food, beach, sea, and just there's a lot going on. So I was thinking a lot about it in my head, and I really, really love combining different things in my artwork. I would say that, when it comes to kind of the concepts and some of the execution in composition, I really draw a lot of inspiration from Chagall. Marc Chagall is a Russian artist, very, very well known, and he has these scenes that feel like a dream, but they are full of nostalgia and elements from his life. And I've always been inspired by his art. My art looks nothing like his, and he is really one of the masters. But I do use and paint in similar ways, where I love having these paintings that have things like floating around, and there is no clear composition, and there is no logic or a lot of like realism in it. And that's what I want to talk about kind of today, how these ideas kind of translate and how that process happens. And a lot of it is just because I've tried doing things in what I would call more like traditional or normal way. Let's not use the word normal, but like in a more traditional way when I'm painting a place or a scene. And it just didn't work for me. I didn't like the process. I didn't like the result. And so I've had to kind of develop my own thing. And one of my favorite landmarks in Tel Aviv is a particular fountain that actually originally was very, very colorful. And then the whole area where it was situated got completely reconstructed, what's the word? Renovated. That's the word. Thank you to my brain. It was completely renovated, and they still kept this fountain because it really is iconic, but it is now gray. And I had to go online and look for the reason. I was very upset about it because, you know, I love color, and it was very, very colorful before. And I was thinking, oh no, they took that away. Why? And then I read that they're having some artistic differences between the people, like the artist who designed it and the city. I don't know. But for now, as far as I know, it's gray. And so I have to paint it from my imagination or, you know, reference images from all the years that it was there before. But here you can see I was trying more to create a scene that is quite similar in many ways to how this actually is. You know, there's the fountain, there's a little like area around it, there are trees, and there are buildings in the background. And there was no flow here. There was no joy here. I was again trying to fit my hand, my brain, my artistic sense to the scene of this place, which is, you know, if you told probably 100 artists to paint this scene, they would probably paint something similar to this. And this is by no means I'm trying to say, you know, something bad about anyone. This is just the way that we are mostly, we as artists, and I say also we as, let's say, more beginner artists, you know, we're kind of taught this thing. You have to think about the composition and the scene and all of these things. And that is great. And that is fantastic. And that is really important. And it works for a lot of people. And a lot of people just want that. They want, you know, urban sketching is like this huge, huge trend. And I've actually taken a course. I will leave you that link below if I remember. If I forget, please remind me in the comments. It's a course from Domestika by, I'm not sure if it's a Portuguese artist or a Spanish artist, but she is fantastic. Very, very inspiring. That particular course is with Gouache. And she really kind of inspired me to push the boundaries of like the traditional kind of perspective with her very dynamic views. And I really love her artwork and her sketchbooks, but I'm just not sure that it's really something that I want to do. But the only way to really figure this out is to experiment a lot and paint a lot. And so sometimes it's just something you have to go through. And, you know, hopefully the more you paint, kind of the more you figure out how to do this kind of translation or this process, this work, faster and easier, and skip the steps and not do the sketches that don't really bring you joy. Although I don't think you can completely eliminate those. Not everything you'll ever sketch or paint is going to be amazing, you know, in your opinion. And I feel the same way about what I do. Some things work, some don't. And I really don't see a different way of getting to where you want to be without those, you know, brush miles, ugly stuff, studies, sketches, all the things that didn't work. And so I learned from that painting before that you saw that I kind of abandoned it I I didn't really bother to stick with it. And this is another lesson that I've learned, not to waste my time on pieces that don't inspire me and make me happy. I cherish the time that I spent painting them, and I prefer then to go ahead and work on something better. And that has also been a process. So sorry, I guess, I don't know, I painted a little bit off camera. So ta-da! And here you can see already, so this is a subject that I've painted before, but this is the most kind of loose version that I've ever done of it. So it is very suggestive, it is very abstract, and it doesn't really, there aren't a lot of similarities to reality. This is another iconic landmark in Tel Aviv on the beach. It's an old hotel, and it has these stripes and these, very colorful, surprise, surprise, very colorful colors on it. The whole building is very colorful, kind of like in rainbow colors. And does it look like my, I don't know, very loose rainbowy shape on my painting? Not at all. But to me, in my brain, that's that. And I really had fun painting it. And you can see there are other elements there. There are like some suggestion of stairs. There are a couple suggestions of palm trees, and these turquoise blobs that to me suggest water. A couple of sun umbrellas, kind of a mess, like I like. And you'll see in the next process video that I'll post how that fountain also found its way to a painting of mine, but in a different scale and just kind of floating around between other things without the need to put it in this whole scene of where it actually is or how it actually is. So I actually don't really care about anything around that fountain. I just love the fountain itself. And I looked at pictures and I made some sketches, and now I have in my brain and my muscle memory the very, very general structure of it that I can now recreate and translate it to my visual language. And that whole process is fascinating to me and very joyful. And you will see that painting in the next video. There's also, I think for me, a lot to be said about scale. I don't think I work well with these large structures on my paintings. I think I really like little details and little scenes and, little sun umbrellas and smaller trees. I don't know, just seems to work better for me. So this is the last stretch. The video will be over in like a couple of minutes, and I finished my play with the watercolors, and I think there's also a bit of gouache here. And now I'm moving to the pencil stage, which is such a relaxing and joyful part of my process these days. I don't really think a lot. I mostly focus on matching colors and filling in spaces. And it has made my painting process kind of longer in the best way, where the watercolor part is pretty fast. But then with a pencil, because the pencil is tiny, I get to spend more time with my paintings with all these beautiful colors. And it has also added a lot of, I think, much needed kind of detail to my work, which I struggled to get just with watercolors. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in another one very soon. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.